Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last 7 days, I've been driving the 2023 Ford F-350 King Ranch. Up front is a 6.7 liter high output turbo diesel V8, and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video for 2 reasons. First of all, I've spent the last 7 days driving this F-350 King Ranch as my daily driver, and I have plenty of thoughts on that. But the second reason is the fact that this is my first diesel press car. I've done diesel reviews here on the channel, quite a bit actually. However, I haven't had the chance to actually live with one, to drive one at midnight, to have to refuel one, to have to live with the fuel economy, to have to live with the upsides and the downsides, and so today I get to share that with you. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackprato.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 6.7 liter high output Power Stroke V8. Well, there are 2 6.7 liters offered. Obviously, the non-high output and the high output. This makes 500 horsepower, which is great, yes. But the torque is what will really blow your hair back. 1,200 pound-feet of torque out of this engine. Now, the non-high output still makes 1,020 pound-feet and makes about 475 horsepower, but that is a very healthy number, and you most certainly feel it while driving. If the Earth ever loses its rotation, we can restart it with an F-350 King Ranch. Now, they do offer these in gasoline as well, which is a 7.3 liter gas V8, and that makes 405 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. That's it! So you get nearly 3 times the torque by going up to the high output 6.7, which is awesome. And I should say that the high output 6.7 liter is a $12,495 option. So it does add almost $13,000 to the price tag of this truck. However, I think it's worth it, but that can be up to you. Like I said, paired to it is a torque shift 10-speed automatic transmission. It shifts really smooth, really quietly. You don't even notice it, and it is quite lovely. Last but not least, of course, the F-350 is 4-wheel drive. It would be quite the sin if it wasn't. So how does it feel to drive the F-350 King Ranch? Well, you are large and in charge. Take corners a little bit wider than you would think. You're about eye level with most semis that you'll pass. However, on the contrary, the steering is actually almost too light for my liking. It's so easy to turn the wheel, which is good because anyone can then drive it, but it just doesn't really match the weight and mass of this vehicle. It feels like overboosted 1970s power steering. If you've ever driven 1970s cars, you could turn them with a pinky finger, and that's pretty similar here in the F-350. Visibility is okay for the size of truck. However, you have several camera systems we'll get into later on that definitely help out, and I think personally are a necessity. All right, let's talk fuel economy. 18.3 miles to the gallon. Not wonderful. However, on 2 road trips, about 2 hours each to and from a location, I was able to get 23 miles to the gallon on the highway, sitting at about 70 to 75 miles an hour. Really depended on if I had a tailwind, but don't expect really anything above 22 or 23 to the gallon. That's pretty much the limit of the F-350 with the 6.7 high output diesel. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I really like how it's laid out. It's simple and easy to read. I didn't find myself fumbling around or trying to figure out what was what, and of course you can customize it around, and with the drive modes it will change colors, which we'll talk about the drive modes now. We have Eco, Tow Haul, Normal, slippery, and off-road. There is no sport mode here in the F-350, which I was a little surprised at, but also I don't think anyone's really drag racing an F-350. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our adaptive cruise control options along with volume and voice commands, and off to the right we do have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as more phone options and our skip track. For the cruise control, I would have liked to have seen Blue Cruise in this truck because it is almost $100,000 However, not the end of the world. I'm sure there was some reason that they didn't do it. Maybe it's too big, or you can't blue cruise while hauling things. I don't know, but I would have liked to have seen that at this price point. We do also get a nice brushed aluminum finish down below. It says King Ranch with the King Ranch brand, and I like that a lot. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our mirror lights, our onboard power on and off, power tailgate, rear cargo light, fog lights, headlight settings, gauge dimmer switches, power parking brake, and pedal adjustments. And moving on to the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats, lock and unlock, our mirror adjustments in and out, power folding mirrors, mirror adjustments, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have our B&O sound system, which absolutely knocks. It is awesome. It shakes the truck with the bass, and it is fantastic. This definitely feels like you get your money's worth when it comes to the speakers. And then moving up above the infotainment system, we have some interesting buttons. First of all, with the engine braking button. So there's 3 modes, obviously on and off, and then auto, which is really nice. I usually left it on auto because my area doesn't really have laws against engine braking. So that's really cool. It'll start downshifting and actually slowing down for you without using the brakes. This, of course, is to prevent the overheating of brakes when you're hauling something. You can use the engine to help slow you down. Then we do have our camera button. Like I said, tons of different camera options here. Parking sensors on and off, hazard switch, and our traction control off. But now let's talk about the screen. This is going to be a lengthy part of the video, so skip to this part of the video if you want to skip the infotainment. All right, let's talk infotainment because there's quite a bit to talk about. Well, first of all, we do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is nice. However, as you can see, it never takes up the full amount of the screen. There's always other stuff going on. Now, I personally like this. I like having the option to do other things. You can do navigation and whatnot over here. But some people find this a lot more hectic and a lot more visually annoying. And so just a heads up there. We can come down here and do zone lighting. This was very helpful while moving as well. Power on here. And then you can select the different zones that you want to light up, which is very, very helpful, especially working out at a job site. If you are out on a farm where there is no light around, you can actually use this as kind of like a light truck, which is very cool. We do have our apps over here, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, pretty simple, but the settings and features is where we really get into it. Phone list, obviously, Bluetooth and wireless CarPlay. We could go over to the vehicle around here, and we have all of these awesome, awesome settings that we can go through. You can customize your truck to do a lot of different things. However, seats. They do have massage seats. So there are 5 different massage routines, I guess, settings. And then you could also adjust how strong the massage is in each of these settings. So very, very cool. The passenger seat is massage as well. Coming back here, we do have our vehicle hotspot, 911 assist, Amazon Alexa, Ford Assistant, and valet mode. And then we can come over here to features. We do have power running boards along the side of the vehicle. We can also turn on our Pro Power on board. So if you turn it on back here and turn on generator mode, it says in generator mode, your engine will continue to run to supply power to the outlets. Only use the vehicle outside. So you can basically turn your F-350 into a giant power generator for those rear outlets. Very, very cool to see that. We'll turn that right back off. We also do have onboard scales. So, onboard scales is not intended for trade measurement usage. Be aware of additional weight of passengers outside. So basically, it's saying, oh, don't rely on this of saying, you know, telling your customer I have exactly 300 pounds of whatever. But it actually has a built-in scale, which is so freaking cool. Zone lighting, again, you can access through the features. We have the Smart Hitch. Smart Hitch is not intended for trade measurement. We get it. But, I mean, look at all of these gooseneck fifth wheel weight distribution hitch. You can tell it what kind of hitch it has, and it will help you set that up for that. Over here, we also do have the owner's manual, which I was messing around with last night, which is very interesting because you don't get a physical owner's manual. It's all on the screen, which could be nice. However, we do have videos, and there's videos for all of this stuff. So if we want to learn about the exterior, let's learn about the daytime running lights. So it does take a second to boot up here, but once we see the image, come on, there we go.
Your vehicle may have daytime running lamps that can be turned on or off depending on your preference. Let me explain.
So, very cool. You can select a whole bunch of stuff and it will actually walk you through with a video, which I thought was kind of interesting. To the left of that screen, we do have our Pro Trailer Assist button, and off to the right, we do have a glove box that is openable with this button. Seems a little redundant, not sure why they did this, but they did, and well, here we are. Down below the infotainment, we have physical buttons for our volume and tune, as well as mute, music, skip track, play, all of those things. I feel like this could have been simplified a little bit. There's a lot of buttons going on here, but that's okay. And then we have our climate controls. Physical climate controls, absolutely love that. Dual zone, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, all the fixins there. And off to the left, we have our trailer brake adjustment and our drive modes, along with our four-wheel drive settings for 2 high, 4 low, and locking rear differential. Off to the right, we have a 12-volt outlet and a standard wall outlet. This came in special handy because my girlfriend bought a lamp off of Facebook Marketplace, and we were able to test it out then and there that it actually worked. So, added some nice ambiance to the interior of the F-350. But down below, we have an openable cubby with a wireless charger, as well as USB-C and USB-A. I like that they offer both because we are still in that transitional year. I think in the next coming years, we're going to switch to just USB-C, but it's nice to have both for the time being. And then we move into the center with cup holders. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test. It passes, of course. However, it does have this really cool feature where you could slide this over and basically create 2 more larger cup holders if need be, or move it over and just have an open cubby, which actually almost perfectly fits a fast food bag. So tons of options, but at the end of the day, the F-350 passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console with a giant storage area in there. And the King Ranch logo found on the outside, really like that. And I forgot to mention up on the dash, we have this nice King Ranch design. Super classy, super Western. I think this is absolutely awesome. Up above me, we do have some interesting buttons for the power sunroof. The sunroof is absolutely massive, really adds some luxury here to the F-350. And my friend Nick timed it, and it takes 16 seconds for the shade to fully open because it is that long. We also do have these auxiliary switches, which you could wire to be whatever you want when you own your F-350 King Ranch, whether that be a light bar, winch, or other accessories. There's just a fuse box underneath the dash, and you just wire them to be whatever you want. But let's talk about the seats. As we saw with the center infotainment display, they are massaging. They are heated, ventilated, power, memory, and this truck has the full laid down seats. So if you put up the rear seats, you can actually fully recline these seats to be completely flat. Ford did this because they know that people are going to use this out on the work site or during long hauls, driving across country, and so if you want to catch a couple hours of sleep in your F-350, you can actually lay it down, and the back of the seat will actually fold forward very slightly. And I mean very slightly. It works, it does it, but, you know, it's not the craziest thing. Speaking of seats, however, let's hop out and do a backseat review. Alright, so we're in the back of the F-350 King Ranch, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I'm 5'11". I'm not a small guy. My knees are not even coming close to the seat in front of me. My head's not even coming close to the ceiling. I genuinely could lay down back here and have a very good experience. It's so spacious, so comfy. These rear seats are also heated, although they are movable, which we'll talk about in a second. But I have 2 USB-C ports down here, as well as a 12-volt outlet and a wall outlet. So plenty of charging features there. We do have a center console with 2 cup holders in there. Overall, I mean, this back seat is just, it's a 10 out of 10. It's absolutely wonderful. So fantastic. But like I said, you can fold up these rear seats that allow for the full laydown of the front seats, but also for extra storage, I was able to fit all of the drawers of 2 dressers back here. This photo, actually, I've already taken some out, and I forgot to take a photo when it was completely full, but you get the point. Very cool. Very helpful, too, because it started raining a little bit, so the drawers in here were completely dry. You have plenty of space to do that, which is wonderful. However, let's hop into the very back and talk about the real cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the F-350 King Ranch, double click here on the key fob, and it does have a power tailgate that is not only down, but right back up as well. So hit it twice here, and it will power fold back up. I have not personally been able to find a button on the exterior for the power tailgate. Now, of course, you can power it down like that and press the button, but there's no button up here. So if you want to put it back up, obviously you can lift it like a normal human being, but you'd have to sort of reach around to then put that back up. I wish, like the Toyota Tacoma, they put the button right here, which is super nice. So I wish Ford did something like that, but I'm definitely not complaining at a power-operated tailgate. Once we are in the back here, we do have tie downs and lights. There is a button over here to turn on the rear cargo lights, which is super nice. You don't have to run back up to the cab to try to turn them on. And we do get a outlet over here, actually 2 outlets technically, which is nice to see. One more party trick for the back here. You see this little, well, I guess 2. You have this measuring stick right here. Really, really nice. I hope it's super accurate, but don't really know. We do have a step. So you pull this out, lock it. There you go. Once it's locked, you can use this to, 1 foot up, pull yourself right up into the bed. This actually came in a lot of handy when moving stuff for my new house. So I actually am a really big fan of this feature, and I actually got to use it in a very practical sense. Kind of hard to do one-handed. In a very practical sense, I got to use it, which was very cool. So pull this up. There we go. Hit the button. Power operated tailgate around the back of the F-350 King Ranch. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this is finished in Rapid Red, which is a $495 option. It's a big truck, obviously, don't have to say much more. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think, having driven a $95,000 Ford F-350 King Ranch turbo diesel for the last 7 days? Well, to say I'm smitten over this truck would be the understatement of the year. I have really enjoyed my time here with the F-350, and that's not for no reason. To peel back the curtain a little bit, to get personal for a second, I'm moving. I am renting a house for the first time in my life. And so I have to acquire furniture because, well, at the time of recording, I don't have any belongings, really. I live with my parents. But by the time this is posted, I'll be in my new house. So, you know, send help. Long story short, I've been gathering furniture and moving things and storage units and all that stuff. This truck has been an absolute godsend in that process. We were able to, on a whim, pick up new dressers from a Facebook Marketplace deal for free. That was about an hour away. We were able to do it literally at the drop of a hat because we had the F-350. I was able to buy my girlfriend a kayak for her birthday, and so I was able to do that for her. It was absolutely awesome. I also took this truck to a very close friend's wedding, and it was able to do that because it is classy enough. The King Ranch with the saddle leather seats, you know, this wasn't just some farmhand base model XLT. No. I actually was able to roll up in style and getting a massage, which was nice. It was kind of a do-all vehicle. Now, I'm not saying that I couldn't pick up a dresser, or I couldn't pick up a kayak, or I couldn't go to a friend's wedding in a smaller, more affordable truck. With an F-150, even a Ranger, or even a Maverick, I could have done most of that stuff. But I'm just sharing my personal experience with you, and it was the fact that I was able to do anything I wanted to do with this truck. There were no barriers, and that's the nice thing, is that this truck is ready for everything. Was I towing horse trailers all week? No. But if someone called me and said, hey, I'm towing my car on a trailer right now and the truck that we're towing with broke down, can you come rescue me? I could have done that. We could have hooked the trailer up to my truck and gotten the job done. We didn't, but this truck opens up those possibilities. And that's what's so great about having a pickup truck. That's why people like pickup trucks. Not necessarily because you have to use it every single day, although there are people that do. I personally don't have a need for it, but I like having that possibility. I like being able to see a friend moving or myself moving and say, hey, we don't have to go to U-Haul, we don't have to stand in a line, we don't have to download an app and try to return it with the same amount of fuel that we got it with and deal with the dents and dings and terrible condition of U-Haul and rent a truck, pickup trucks. You're able to just say, yes, let's go get it done, and go get it done. That's why I love having a pickup truck, and the F-350 was absolute overkill in every situation. But I would rather be overpowered than underpowered any day of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to the Ford Motor Company for letting me borrow their F-350 for the last week and move houses with it. I'm sure you guys will see more personal updates on that on the channel later on, but huge thank you to Ford for allowing for that. Huge thank you to G. Schmidt for the delivery and cleaning of this vehicle, and of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like the video. I have house payments now. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.